Hey guys, my name is Josie Badger, and I'm going to be conducting some of the interviews while we're in Ireland. I want to thank you guys so much for volunteering to help with these interviews. They're going to be a huge support for youth who are developing leadership skills here in Pennsylvania. I wanted to introduce to you one of my project partners. His name is Everett Dibler.
Hi, how are you guys? So awesome to be here and do this. And the cool thing about these interviews is that Josie and I are doing is they're going to be used for two purposes. One is Josie does youth development trainings within the state of Pennsylvania through her job at the Peel Center, which is a parent advocacy center here in Pennsylvania, right? Or I guess what is it? A PTI?
Yes.
So a Parent Training Institute. Did I get that right? Is that close?
That's good.
It's good enough. Okay. Um, but Josie does youth development trainings with them, and I am currently working with the Department of Education here in Pennsylvania, in the United States, to look at leadership skill development and to find out what young people need to learn to develop youth leadership skills. And we thought, with Josie's involvement with One Young World, we thought it would be really, really great to involve the people that she meets all over the world, asking them what youth leadership means to them and what they're doing in their countries to promote leadership. So we wanted to give you a sample interview so you get an idea of what they're going to look like and so you know what they're going to be used for. So, Jose?
Okay, so I'm going to be asking Everett the same questions that I will be asking all of you. And so then at the end of the interview, if there was something you want to add, you would totally welcome that. So, Everett, I'm going to ask you a few questions about yourself and about your leadership. So, my first question is just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, wow. My name is Everett, like I said. I'm a huge sport fan, but I'm also a huge disability advocate in the state of Pennsylvania, and I'm now, I guess, 30 years old, which makes me old, I guess, by youth perspective now. But I've kind of taken my passion for youth leadership and created an employment opportunity to do what I'm doing now. It's truly what I love to do. It is my passion, so I can truly say that I'm doing something for a job that I love and care much about. Other than that, I really enjoy chicken fingers and the Dallas Cowboys and I don't know what else. I mean, food really is a big thing. But that's me. But I guess we'll get more into what my leadership is down the road, I guess, huh?
That's great. Thanks, Ev. And fortunately, most of you guys hopefully don't know who the Dallas Cowboys are, and that's a good thing. Don't judge the U.S. on the Dallas Cowboys.
Or our version of football, I guess, huh? Because that was soccer across the world.
Yeah. So question number 2. So number 2 is, did or does your school, could have been elementary, primary school, college, do anything to promote youth leadership?
Wow, that's interesting. I know in our high schools, when I was in high school, there's a lot of clubs, things for like farming and agriculture, for business leadership, things like that. There's student councils and student governments that were in high school and in college. In college, there were also clubs. But you know what's funny is the thing that I noticed a lot is that there's clubs all over the place, and they're supposed to be like faculty advisors for all these clubs, and they really weren't active from my perspective in these clubs a lot of times. Doesn't mean they're not other places. It just means that while there is opportunities, I don't know if people really realized that it's promoting youth, their development as leaders as a youth. So personally, I think there could be more that's done.
Mhm.
in this country to promote leadership for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And number 3, what opportunities are available for youth in your country to develop and practice their leadership skills? So more at a community, state, or national level rather than directly in schools? Are there ways that youth can develop skills or become involved and actually practice their skills?
Wow, and I wish I know for me, my start in leadership, especially in the realm of disability, was with the Pennsylvania Youth Leadership Network that Josie founded so many years ago. Um, and that's a great experience. But as far as like community leadership, there is ways to volunteer and get involved. One of the big ways that I know of and have learned about is the 4-H that exists here in Pennsylvania, which is I don't know what the 4-H's are, Josie. I think you might know them.
Yeah,
It's a heart, hands, and head and
health.
health. Okay, and they focus around youth developing those skills, thinking about themselves, about nature, and about the people around them, which is a really kind of a cool thing. There are some clubs like the Lions clubs and different things like that, but honestly, a lot of them are based around older people.
Mhm.
So I do think that there's a lot of lack of initiatives that are for young people or that really desire to include young people in a real way. And there's somebody in the bag. That was on this. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was another youth leader that was behind Everett.
Yes.
He just wanted to be in the video too.
Photo bomb.
So number 4.
Okay.
What does it mean to be a leader? What makes someone a leader? So is it characteristics or titles? What is it?
Well, it's definitely not titles in my opinion. This is weird because I've done these interviews, and so like, but I've never actually had to answer this type of question. So, personally, leaders have nothing to do with a title. I think that being a leader means that you have a vision and you have real passion for what you're doing, and you're able to get others to understand and see a mission and vision you have for what you're trying to do. Um, and to me, leadership is like to me leadership should always be shared. So you should try to give leadership opportunities when you can. Try to mentor someone, but also realize you can't do that. You can't do it by yourself. But that takes a lot of skills to get that done. Like you got to be able to communicate. You got to be organized. You have to be flexible and willing to learn and try new things. For us, kind of like these Google Hangouts thing, this is all like new to us. We find out it works, so we're gonna use it. So things like that.
Good answer. So,
Ooh.
2 more. So, number 5. What do you feel is the biggest barrier to youth leadership, either in your country or just in general?
Um, I think it. I think there's a stigma attached to youth in general, especially in the United States. I think our generation is seen as lazy and as a generation that doesn't care. And if we do care, we don't really see the need to do anything about it because we're too self-centered, I guess, is that, or too much about ourselves and who we are personally. So I think a lot of it is attitudinal, especially for people with disabilities. I think that we're seen as unable to do things on our own. So the attitude of other people impacts how many opportunities we really get to exercise our leadership skills and skill development. So I would say it comes down to perception and the attitudes that people have about what young people are really capable of.
Good stuff. So, the last question, is there anything else that you would like to share either about youth and leadership, or just to share in general with youth that we'll be working with, or the teachers that a lot of this material will hopefully go to.
Okay. For teachers, I would think I would say, and I don't know if we're going to use this video for them. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But I think that for teachers, it's about having a belief and not putting somebody into a box. And by that, I mean assuming that they can or can't do something. You should always try to find what their skills and talents are. But about youth leadership, I think there needs to be this move to be inclusive, and that's kind of why I'm doing the project I'm doing now. Working with the Department of Ed while I work for an agency that does things for people with disabilities. The project is for all kids across Pennsylvania here in the United States. It doesn't matter what race, what gender, what disability you have, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's for everybody. So I think that we need to find a way to get people with and without disabilities at the same table together doing great things. So that's what I think.
Yes, now something to know about me is often I put people on the spot. It's just how I roll. Without prompting them beforehand about certain questions.
Sure. Are you about to do that to me now?
Yeah, so I just want you to talk a little bit about this so-called program of the PYLN, maybe NYLN, just
Okay.
a little bit about what these programs you mentioned are,
Okay.
and if they wanted to get in touch or see more about it, where would they do that?
Sure. Okay, sure. So I mentioned that I'm a part of the Pennsylvania Youth Leadership Network, and it was started by the Department of Education here in Pennsylvania in the U.S. And they really looked at the transition from school to adult life, whether that's you want to get a job, whether you want to go to university, whether you just want to find a way to live on your own and do your own thing, is what PYLN, or the Pennsylvania Youth Leadership Network, was all about. And Josie, 8 years ago, or maybe more now, I don't even know.
Almost 10, I think.
How close was contacted by the Department of Ed and said, "Can you get young people together to talk about the whole idea of the challenges and barriers that young people with disabilities face when moving from school to adult life?" And so I've been a part of that with Josie at least for 8 years. I feel like I don't know, and we're really good friends. But we get to travel around the state and the country, or I should say Pennsylvania and the rest of the United States, doing trainings for young people, talking about this stuff, so that they're more prepared for what they need to do to be independent individuals when they become adults. So if you want to learn more about that, you can contact PYLN at pyln.gb@gmail.com, or you can go to the website pyln.org to find out. Now, the PYLN is based in Pennsylvania. The National Youth Leadership Network is a group similar to PYLN on a national level. In fact, PYLN's mission and vision and structure were based off of NYLN's principles and practices. So if you want to get involved and check them out, now I know their bend right now, Josie, or the way they approach things is a little differently than what PYLN does at this point, but they still do committees and have a governing board, and if you want to learn more about that, you can go to nyln.org and check them out too. They're awesome. I guess I really didn't talk about my product and what this is all about.
No,
I did, because I get talking and then I don't talk about what I should. Anyway, I am working with the Department of Ed here in the state of Pennsylvania in the United States to look at the standards that teachers use on a regular basis to teach lessons in their classroom. So in the United States, teachers are required to teach certain things to make sure that students learn exactly what they're supposed to. So it's like a national education system or framework, I guess. I'm assuming some nations have similar things. They might even be better than what ours is, or
Probably.
already they've been using it for a long time. And the United States is kind of getting around on this idea over the last 5 to 10 years. And so the idea is that teachers don't have a whole lot of time to focus on leadership skill development because some of the stuff is not necessarily aligned to those needed academic standards. So what I'm doing is creating a website, lesson plans, worksheets, and different activities that are aligned directly to those standards so that teachers can say without a doubt that they are using their required academic standards in the classroom, but they're still able to focus on teaching young people leadership skills. And I think with that, I think I'm done talking now. Ask me something else.
Oh, thank you, Ev. So that's just an example of potentially how we could run an interview. It's really flexible. If there's some other way you would feel more comfortable, we're up for that. We're all for access and accommodations. And so we would love to support you however you would feel most comfortable. And just as a side note, I do not work directly for the same group that Everett does. I work for the Peel Center, but fortunately, through my job, I have the ability to work with him and they support me.
And we can kind of share resources and do things together to make sure the message of youth leadership gets put out. And the other thing, I guess, that maybe I can show is the website that I was talking about, because everybody's, if you're okay with it, are going to be placed on this website and distributed to the world here in, at least, I shouldn't say to the world, but in our country, I guess, huh?
Well, and we could post it, if you guys would like, on Facebook, and you guys could share it within your own country.
We would love to do that to try to maybe even get more information and more people. So I'm going to show you what the website right now looks like, and hopefully if I'm using this right, you'll see. Can you see my screen, Joe? Am I right? Did I do it correctly? Have we learned enough now? Okay, so if you go to where it says I'm a youth, there's a tab that says videos that make you think. And if you look here, if my computer works with me, it'll actually show you, slowly pausing, we're all friends now, it's okay, that there is videos up here already. And if you look even to this homepage to the left, you can see that there's a video there already. We're going to do our best to get your videos and thoughts up here with these, so that youth and then teachers will be able to see this too. So your interviews will be shared, so they'll be able to see that leadership is not just in the United States, so that we're increasing people's worldview and they understand what's happening. So yes, that's what we're going to do. So that being said, I'm going to stop the screen share and hopefully my face will come back up here. Maybe.
There you are.
There we are. Okay. So that's it. So we're going to hope to put you there. And then, like I said, you're going to be used with Josie's stuff. So know that your message is going to be shared with other people too. And there's that guy again walking by. I think he does just want to be on the interview. Anyway.
So guys, thank you again for volunteering. Don't stress out if we're pressed on time. If things don't work out, we'll do it like Everett and I are doing now. Just long distance. That's fine.
Because so she's on one side of Pennsylvania, and I'm on the other. But you'd never know that through this technology. So that's how it works.
Thanks, guys. Bye.